Hello, it's Thursday, January the 28th, and we wish you a very, very good day today. We are constantly remembering you in our prayers and trust that it won't be long before we will see some of you back, having had shortly your second vaccine. I'm told I'm just under the wire. I'm not 70, so I'm kind of waiting for the next phase, and I'm ready to roll up my sleeve and get this thing done. I'm told the second vaccine packs a punch, and that it can keep you down for a day or so. But whatever, I'm ready for it. I'm glad that some of you already have a date for that second vaccine, and soon then we might see you back at church, and we greatly look forward to that day. Now we begin a new section in the book of Psalms, Psalms 120 to 134. They belong together. They all have the same title, A Song of Ascents, depending on which translation. In the King James, I think it was A Song of Degrees, but A Song of Ascents makes more sense. They're a collection of psalms not at all written at the same time. One of them is definitely after the exile, and certainly one of them is in the time of David, and possibly even before. So hundreds and hundreds of years separate this collection of psalms, and how the psalms were finally collected together is still, to this day, a subject of much debate and research, and a lot of advancement has actually been done just within the last 40 or 50 years on a conjecture as to how exactly the Psalms were put together in the 155-book volume that we have today. But that for another time. So for the next 3 weeks or so, we're going to be in these ascent psalms that belong together. And it begins with, "In my distress I called to the Lord, and he answered me." And then in verse 5, "Woe to me that I sojourn in Meshech, that I dwell among the tents of Kedar." Now, Meshech and Kedar, roughly, way to the south of Jerusalem and way to the north of Jerusalem in completely different territories, and certainly one of them is by the Black Sea, and one of them I think is probably on the borders of Arabia. In other words, these are Jews who no longer live in Israel. They no longer live near Jerusalem. They are diaspora Jews, the result perhaps of the Babylonian captivity and the effects that brought about upon so many of the Jews. So he's longing to be in Jerusalem, which is where the temple was before it was destroyed. And now the second temple that's being built, of course, under the ministries of Ezra and Nehemiah and so on, and where sacrificial worship takes place. But he may be as much as 1,000 miles away. By the time you get to Psalm 122, he is standing within the gates of Jerusalem. And so the Song of Ascents title to these psalms may well refer to the fact that these are psalms that were sung as pilgrims, diaspora pilgrims, made their journey from afar to one of the great feast days in Jerusalem. And all Jews were required to come for the Holy Week that was Yom Kippur and Passover. And so that journey, depending on how long how far away they lived, I mean, that journey could take several weeks. And so the journey there, they'd be in Jerusalem for a week or two, and then they would go home. So different times, of course, but we may be speaking here of a couple of months in their lives. And as they made that caravan, that journey to Jerusalem, these are the psalms that they would sing. And it begins. Psalm 120 begins, "In my distress I called to the Lord, and he answered me." And it's on that positive note, God who hears and answers prayer, that the first is the first Psalm of Ascent begins. And it ends with these extraordinary words, I am for peace, but when I speak, they are for war. Yes, like you and me, he finds himself in a world that is hostile to the things of God. And so he looks to God for grace and help along this journey that he is making. Well, more on the Songs of Ascent in the coming weeks. Now, tomorrow is Fun Facts Friday, and I'm told, I may be wrong about this, we record way in advance, but I think tomorrow it's Lanny Lambert and the organ. He's not playing the organ, but he's talking about the organ. It was fun to film little details that will intrigue you about our magnificent organ here at First Presbyterian Church. Do watch. See you next Monday.
We hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, and you want to make sure you get all of our content, not just videos, but podcasts and ministry updates, make sure you download our app. If you think you might have missed a video, click on our YouTube channel. A link should be down below. There you can see all of our videos, and if you want to make sure you don't miss anything in the future, hit subscribe. If you want to be one of the first ones to know when we release a video, hit that little bell icon. And if this video has blessed you, and you can think of someone else that it might help, use that share icon and send it to them. All, of course, for the edification of God's people and the glory of His name. Until next time, God bless.